This is a what we call a dry fit or a test fit of the major pieces, and a test of some of the wiring. I'm going to change the yellow and blue wire to the black flex wire eventually, very shortly, by the way. But I wanted to get a look at the stance, and see what you. Well, just let you see what it is. It's not going to change, okay? This is a K5 coupler link, and I'm using the wiring in the location it was above the coupler, the link, I should say, and then it runs down to the sides of the link and up into the engine, so that the back of the engine is unimpeded as far as its appearance and its look. And you can see that's really cramped for the man. The man's still tight. I can't go any skinnier there for fitting and whatnot, but we're going to work on that. See if I can't give the man a diet or something, get him in there. Oh, I was going to show you this. Let's see if I can do this real quick. Hold on a second. One-handed here. Let's see if I can set this up in a way that it can still show you something. Okay, just hell. Keep an eye on that if you can. See what you see. Let's see, where's my clips? I usually have little clips for this. Hold things together while I'm fumbling around. There you go. There's the firebox and the fire lit. I don't have the light. I had it. I took it out, but I will put those in on your engine. Plus, I have the LED headlight to put in yet. So while that's going on, let's see if I can roll this over, show you what's going on here. There you can see the wiring is running all the way to the front, okay, and the smoke is in there. I don't know if you can see it clear enough or not, but there's the gray plastic is the smoke. The little silver motor is the puffer. There's the new motor that we just got, and here's the latest and great. Oh, and the trailing thing we like about, okay. And here is the thing I've been working on the last couple of days, is the firebox itself. Here you can see, if you can, the back of it where the LEDs are firing, still hanging in there. They'll jump wires here in a minute because I move this thing around. I had to do some tweaks. As you can see, there's a little groove ground into the piece, but it had to make clearance for the tongue when it rotates, and the wiring comes down and goes right up into that opening. It pops up and then it runs along the top, and it would go down and plug in where it's supposed to, okay? This is coming apart just a little bit, but that's okay. I'm gonna do some work with it too. So that's how that's working, and that's how it goes together, and it's come out real well. I'm gonna take this apart. I know it's risky, but you may as well see what's inside if I can. I got an errant wire that got in the way, so I'll have to fix that. Okay. The backup lines, as I have them here now, are going to change. I won't need those wires because we've got this new trick we're going to do, right? Okay. I had a wire over here that was in the way. They have to stay tucked in. They can't come out the sides because this is so tight. What I'm going to do is I'm going to shrink the size of this narrow by 0.25 millimeters. There you can see where the wire was rubbing it. See, it hung down. It didn't stay in the groove. So that's what I have to do. What I'm going to do here, instead of cutting a groove in like I did here, I'm going to make a hole that's inboard, so the wires will come on top of the board and come out a hole, so they won't be so free to just hang out the side and get in trouble that way. I used a speaker on this, and apparently it was a different speaker, different size, a little bit different size. But in any case, I'm going to adapt this hole and shrink the width. I've got to do one more iteration on this baffle before I can release it. That's why it was okay to take this apart. I'm going to figure out, do I want to use this speaker or the speaker that I did use? I'm going to see which one is the better speaker, okay? I think the other one is a little newer, so it might be, I'll see it here somewhere. It must be over by the bench. Oh no, here it is. It just looks a little, it looks identical, but it just looks a little different. I don't know. Maybe it's the same. 8 ohm, easy, 8 ohm. I don't know. Oh, it's different. Yeah, this hole here, this magnet is a lot bigger, so this speaker is probably better than this speaker. Okay, so I may change that. All right. I've got some fitting. This thing didn't clamp like it's supposed to. The clamping, the toggle bits, snap-in bits were a little loose down here, so I got to tighten those up. This is a carbon fiber piece. These are all just plastic pieces, so it's a little different texture, but I don't think it matters. It's all inside, okay? So I got to do another iteration of this. And meanwhile, I ripped off a part over here on my volt regulator. I don't know if you can see this silver cap. There was another one over here, and it's now laying around somewhere. It's supposed to look like this with 2 silver caps. So I have boards. I'll replace that board, 2 solder joints, and it should be okay. My gripe is, kind of my own gripe is, I've glued these wires down so they're nice. So I may have to come up with a better way of doing that next time. Maybe I'll make a fixture that they thread in or something. I don't know. Anyway, these wires can be getting rid of. This is the antenna. I think I can shorten the antenna up or tighten it up a little bit. It's getting loose and getting caught in the sides as well. Everything else seems to be okay as far as fitting. I just have to keep these wires up on the sides, so they're off the sides, I mean. And I think putting the hole in there is going to tighten that up. These are some of my iteration. That's version 2. You have version 3 in there now. Greatest and latest and greatest. Okay. So that's where it's at. Then I have to take this, cut it in half, and create a PC board so I can mount this in here, and some other circuitry, and create the smart smoke, and try to do that all today. I don't know if I can, but I'm going to try. I really wanted this thing. I wanted this as it sits here on the rails running today. That was my hope. Now, the only difference between your engine and this engine are these 2 pieces. Everything else, the bolt patterns, there's nothing that's been modified on here. Nothing's been changed in any way with the shells. They mount the same. They fit the same. These are very similar to yours, so I'm expecting to do all my testing with these pieces, and when I'm finally ready, like I have to put a hole, I have to grind out a hole here. I'm going to grind your hole out of your tender, but I'm going to do it knowing it's the right thing to do and it's the only thing I have to do, and blah blah blah. Okay. For example, I could grind this pillar out in the back here to get that man in, but I don't really want to do that to yours. So I think we should try to find a skinny man. I wrote the girls to see if they can do that or not and tell me how to do it. We could maybe get a 10% reduction in the width or something. I think he'd fit right in there if we could. That's it. And this screw is a standard flyer screw, and you can see it's pretty tall. I wanted that to be a nice flat surface so it looked, you know, realistic, but it's not much I can do. I have a nut I can put on top of there, but it's an awfully big nut. So I'm not sure we want to see that right there, but I don't really want to cut that off because it's always good to have the thread if you need it. If this became loose, we could put a nut on there, so that could be another thing. it's carbon fiber, but it is still plastic, you know. So you want to be able to, and it unbolts here, right? So if it breaks, we can replace it, not a problem. But it also helps retain the heater. The whole firewall piece is held in with that piece. So in order to take the engine apart, you unscrew this here for the link, but then to take all the parts out, you have to unscrew this to get the fireplace, the firebox out. Anyway, that's where we're at. You've heard it, you've seen it, you saw it, smoke and all that. Oh, and I got the skinny stick down there. I don't know if you can see it, this light. Maybe not. All right, there it is. You can see all the way straight down. It's a little off. I'm going to check that and see if it's an adjustment or if I got a problem with something, but it'll come up that stack. It's down at the bottom, so it'll come up that stack nice. The smoke will fill out as it comes up. I still have to do the green lights and the headlight. I know what I'm going to do for the red lights, so I'm not worried about that. But the green lights, I'm a little nervous. I'm going to do some fiber optics. I've done it before. It's a little tedious. I may not get to it. And I'm going to do it on this engine, but then I got to do it on your engine. So I'm going to have a practice. It'll be my third engine. Your engine will be my third engine. I've done the green fiber optics too. So I should have had it pretty well figured out by now. All right, I'm going to post this. You can check it out, and we'll see where we are down the road. And as you can see, I'm pushing, okay? I'm pushing. This part's going to take the rest of the day to print. I can tell you that right now. It's a very, very slow, very long print. And it's going to take a while, but I'll do the best I can to get things going here today if I can. All right, later.